Welcome back to English Cooking, where I teach you English through cooking. Guys, today we have a very special recipe. It's a recipe that I invented myself. So give me a like for inventing a recipe. Have you ever invented a recipe yourself? Well, I invented this recipe. It's one of my favorite recipes, and it's called dead pig and eggs. Dead pig and eggs. Now, it's so simple, guys. This is super simple. So give me a like. If you love simple recipes like I do, you're gonna love this, okay? The first thing you need is the flesh of a dead pig, okay? So look at that. We got some dead pig flesh right there. Now, if dead pig flesh looks like this, it's called bacon. Did you know that? So bacon is one of people's most favorite foods here in our society. Okay, so in Canada, especially Canada, US, people just love bacon. I mean, they put bacon on, it's a very common breakfast food, right? So this right here, what we're gonna make, it's actually late right now. It's not breakfast time, but this is what a lot of people would typically eat for breakfast. Bacon and eggs, okay? So if the dead pig flesh looks like this, it's called bacon. If dead pig looks a little bit differently, then very often it's ham. Okay, so what's the difference between ham and bacon? Both are pig. Actually, there was a lot of different parts of a pig, and it's called different things. Okay, now pig meat is called pork, right? It has a special name. It's called pork, just like cow meat is called beef, right? So this is pork, but nobody ever calls it pork because it's bacon, right? When people think of pork, like if I were to say to someone, hey, want to come over and eat some pork, they would think of probably a pork chop. Do you know what pork chops are? Pork chops are like very often they have a bone. There's a bone and there's like a pig, like a piece of pig flesh, right? That's a pork chop. Ham is a different kind of food altogether. Ham, very often people put ham in a sandwich, right? So there's different parts of the pig. There's different words, but it's all the same animal, right? So this is called bacon. Now, very often people eat bacon in the mornings for breakfast, but it's not just in the mornings. People put bacon on their hamburgers. If you go to McDonald's or any place that sells hamburgers, most hamburgers will have bacon. People put bacon on pizza. People put bacon on, there's so many recipes, so many different kinds of foods that have bacon. So bacon's a very common food here in Canada. So guys, before I keep talking, let's just put the bacon, let's get it frying. Let's get it cooking. So we're gonna put it on the griddle, all right? Now, this kind of a pan is called a griddle. A griddle, okay? It's like a big pan, it's like a flat surface that you can cook on. So we're gonna put the strips of bacon on the griddle, okay? So look at that, right there. That's called a strip of bacon, right? So we're just gonna put it on. Okay, now the word strip actually has another meaning. Do you know what it means? It's kind of got an interesting meaning, okay? To strip means to take off all your clothes. Can you hear the bacon sizzling there? Sounds awesome, doesn't it? That sound is called sizzling. Don't you love the sound of sizzling bacon? I love the sound of sizzling bacon. Okay, so these are called strips, right? Here we have 3 more strips. See? There are 3 strips. A strip of something is like a long, flat thing, right? Like for example, a strip of tape. Let's say you're trying to tape something. Let's say I'm trying to fix something, right? And I'm using some tape. I could say, I need to put on put on a strip of tape here. So a strip is something that's kind of long and flat, right? But like I said, to strip is a verb, which means to take off all your clothes, right? Have you ever been strip searched? So a strip search means when you have to take off all your clothes because they're searching you. For example, if you do something bad and you go to prison, then, you know, when you go into the prison guards will probably do a strip search on you, which means you have to take off all your clothes. Now, why do they do that? Well, they do that because they're checking to see if you're bringing anything illegal into the prison, like a knife or maybe some drugs or, I don't know, something, right? So you have to strip. They might tell you, strip. Right, then you gotta strip. And then they gotta see you naked to see if you're not, to see that you're not bringing anything illegal into the prison, right? So, that's another meaning of the word strip. So in this case, the word strip is a noun, right? This is a strip of bacon. So very often words can be nouns and they can be verbs. Remember in my first cooking, my first episode of English cooking, there was a word that was one noun, could be a noun or a verb. Do you remember what it is? Let me know down in the comments if you remember which word that is. That could be both a noun and a verb. I won't tell you. All right, so let's put another strip on here. And we're just going to put all the strips on here. And then I'll continue with the rest of my lesson. Okay. Now, I'm just going to rinse off my hands here. And, all right. Got my hand towel. This kind of a thing can be called a hand towel or a tea towel. Very often people will have like a tea towel kind of hanging on their oven or kind of the handle of a drawer, right? They'll have a towel there. So it's called a tea towel. And if it's in the kitchen, particularly, it's called a tea towel. So, I mean, you can see my yellow tea towel here and this red one. Yeah, if it's in like a bathroom, it would most likely be called a hand towel. But this is, see, the reason I use the word hand towel is because it's kind of got that texture like a towel. If it's this kind of a side texture here, then it's more likely called a tea towel. So when I look at this side, I think tea towel. When I see this side, I think hand towel. Okay, so it kind of has to do with the texture or the pattern of the towel. Okay, so what else are you going to need for this recipe? You're going to need 2 eggs. All right, we've got 4 strips of bacon that are already cooking there. They're sizzling away. I love the word sizzling. Do you love the sound of the word sizzling? Sizzling. That's awesome. Okay, so 2 eggs, and you're going to need some salt and pepper, right? Salt and pepper. Now, what do you think? Should we put the eggs in now? Should we let the bacon fry a little bit longer before we put the eggs on the griddle? So it depends on if you like your bacon crispy or soft. Let me know down there in the comments if you guys like your bacon crispy or soft. You know, in my experience, it's about 50-50. Of the people I know, it's about 50-50. Okay, 50-50 means it's about even. Half people love their bacon crispy, half of the people love their bacon soft. I mean, I love bacon both ways. So I'm flexible, but how about you? Let me know down in the comments which one you prefer. I think maybe I don't know, man. I have a soft spot for both of them. If you have a soft spot for something, that means you like it. You know, it's something special. So for me, I have a soft spot for both crispy and soft bacon. So I don't know what we're gonna do today. I don't know which mood I'm in. So to flip the bacon, guys, you're gonna need one of these. Now, do you know what this is called? This is called a spatula. Okay, most people call this a spatula. Now, the problem with that is that there's another thing called a spatula, which is this. Did you know that? Both of these, most people call this a spatula. Most people call this a spatula. So some people call these different names to avoid the confusion. Okay, so this would be called a flipper because you use it to flip things, right? And can you guess the other word for this? It's called a scraper. Okay, so because you use it to scrape things, right? Imagine if you make a cake. You're making a cake, right? You've got all your, you've just finished beating the eggs and the milk and the flour and everything together, and you put it into the cake pan. You need to scrape out the bowl. So that's why people call this a scraper. But like I said, I think most people call this a spatula and this a spatula. So it's a bit confusing, but now you know, okay? So we are just, let's flip the first strip of bacon here, because I put that one on first, remember, and then I kept talking a little bit. All right, so eggs, 2 eggs, salt, and pepper. So easy, right? Now look at this. Look at these grains of pink Himalayan salt, right? So this is very coarse grain. I mean, look at this, right? Look at that. That's 1 grain, right? So you can call salt grains, but this is very big grains. Like this are called, it's called coarse grain salt. So if it's really fine and powdery, then we use the word fine. Really small pieces, that's fine. If it's really big pieces, the word is coarse, right? You can also use the word coarse to describe your hair, your beard hair. So for example, for me, when I grow a big beard, my hair, it's like so thick, right? It's coarse. So you can use the word you can use is coarse, anything that's kind of thick, right? So these coarse Himalayan sea salt, is it called sea salt? I don't know what it's called, pink Himalayan salt. And then here we've got our black peppercorns. Okay, so each one of these things is a peppercorn, right? So we're going to put the salt and pepper into a mortar and pestle. Okay, this is called a mortar and pestle. This is the pestle, this is the mortar. All right, but together, this is called a mortar and pestle. So if you want to buy one of these on Amazon or somewhere, you can just search for mortar and pestle. So that's the name of both of them because they come together as one thing, right? So guys, we're gonna put in our salt and we're gonna put in our black pepper, and we are going to grind. We're gonna grind our salt and pepper to put on the eggs. It's gonna be awesome. Oh. Peppercorns escaped on me. All right, so let me know, do you have a mortar and pestle at home? They're very nice. You know, you can grind your spices, you can pound. This is kind of would be called pounding. Anytime you kind of hit something, that's the word pound, okay? So I'm pounding, look at that. All my black pepper and salt are coming flying out of the mortar. All right, we're just gonna make it into a nice fine grind. Let me know, do you like fine salt or coarse salt? Or fine or coarse pepper? You know, very often on a pepper shaker, on a pepper grinder, like I have here, look at this. There's pepper and there's salt. Very often on these things, you can adjust, yeah, see, you can adjust this little thing here to adjust the coarseness of the the salt or the pepper, right? So if you want it coarse, you know, you'd loosen it. If you want it really fine, then you tighten it up, right? So this is called a salt and pepper. Well, this would be a grinder, but if it's just a shaker, I don't have a shaker actually, but you know what a salt and pepper shaker is, right? So this is a grinder. Guys, the bacon's looking, smells so good. Wish you could join me here. All right, we're gonna flip these. And you know, it's funny how like how much bacon shrinks, right? When it starts off, right, the strip looks so big, so like long, but then when you fry it, it's like so small. But anyway, so we got our salt and pepper here. Now, what else was I going to teach you? Got the word griddle. Remember that this kind of pan is the griddle. Crispy or soft bacon. Mortar and pestle. Let's see. Had some more words in mind that I was going to teach you. Maybe I'll remember them. But I think it's time to put the eggs on. So we're gonna grab our olive oil here. Organic extra virgin olive oil. Wow, look at that. We're gonna just put a little bit of olive oil here onto the griddle. And then we are going to crack the eggs and start frying the eggs, all right? Here we go, ready? We're gonna crack the eggs. All right, so there's one egg. Ooh, it's running into the corner of the griddle. We can take the second egg. We're gonna crack it, right? And you know what? My flame is over here. That's why the bacon is cooking. I don't know if it's gonna be cooking that much here, but the heat should transfer because this is cast iron. This material, that kind of heavy material that a lot of pans are made out of, is called cast iron. Do you have any dishes or any cooking, you know, things like pots and pans? Do you have any that are cast iron? I really like cast iron. It's very like a really heavy duty thing. You know, you just use low heat, and it kind of, once it heats up, it just kind of it's kind of a very gentle heat. It's not like putting the bacon right over the flame, so it kind of cooks nice and slowly. Hey, you guys may have noticed I keep a fire extinguisher here in my kitchen in case I get a little bit out of control. If I go a little bit crazy in my cooking, then I can I won't burn down my house. All right, so this is called a fire extinguisher. The word extinguish means to put something out, right? If the flames or fire, to extinguish it means to get rid of it. Extinguish. Like if there's something bad in your life, you might need to extinguish it. Like like, let me think of an example. I wonder if we can use that word with the word pride, with our pride. If you're really a proud person, then maybe you need to extinguish your pride, right? Your pride, it's almost like a fire, and then if you extinguish it, that means you try to get rid of it or suppress it. To suppress something means to kind of like lower it. Okay, so there's my that's my fire extinguisher, in case you're wondering what that was back there. Guys, my eggs aren't really cooking very fast because it's not quite over the heat. I'm gonna increase the bacon's pretty much done here. You can see that it's nice and a little bit soft, maybe a little bit crispy. All right, so to make the eggs cook faster, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cover them up with this thing. I don't know what this thing is called. Cooking cover. Probably has a special name. I don't know what that name is. So we're gonna take a little bit of water here. Just take a little bit of water to create some steam, and then Just cover it up like that. Now that's going to cook in no time. Now, what kind of a what would you call this in English? Do you know what is this? Is it a plate? Well, you could call it a plate, but another word you could use for it is a platter. A platter. Okay, a platter is a big kind of a big plate that you might put some other kinds of foods on. Like it's maybe something you would put in the center of the table. Not just one person eating from it, right? I mean, maybe you'd have some cheese, a cheese platter. If you go to a restaurant and you order a cheese platter, it's probably not just for you. It's for everybody maybe to share or something. So imagine if you were at my house, we're sitting around the table, I brought out a cheese platter or like a veggie platter, nice vegetables, maybe some celery, some carrots, you know, maybe some dip, ranch dip or something like that. I put it in the middle of the table and everybody can, you know, take some cheese or take some vegetables or something like that, right? So platter. Right now, specific words like this are really good. They're great it's great to learn specific words like this because if you're ever taking an exam, like the CELPIP exam, if you use a word plate, well, it's okay, but you'll get a higher score if you use the word platter. Okay, so very specific words like this, right? Like you could call this a pan, but if you want to get a higher score, you could call it a griddle. A griddle. Okay, so guys, I think it's done here. So that's the important thing. That's the kind of the fun thing about learning English. You learn kind of new ways to say things, and you learn more advanced ways to say things, right? You learn new words like this, you know, salt and pepper, coarse or really fine, you know. So these are great words. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's done. All right, we're good to go, guys. I'm just gonna put down some pot holders. Remember what these are called from my first episode of English cooking. They're called pot holders. And we are ready. Oh, that's hot. Yikes. It's about to burn my fingers, guys. See, I need an oven mitt. Found an oven mitt under my kitchen island. All right. So here we go, guys. Dead pig and eggs. Isn't that fantastic? Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is so good. I can't wait to taste this. I'm so hungry. All right, we got our bacon. Now you need a fork and knife, right? This is called a knife. This is called a fork. So we need a fork and knife. See, can you hear it sizzling? I love the sound of sizzling bacon and eggs. Oh, guys, we didn't put our salt and pepper on. All right, so you want to take a pinch of salt and pepper. Okay. Now, very often recipes will call for a pinch of salt. All right, so that's what it means. It's a pinch. Like if someone pinches you, they pinch your cheek. If someone pinches your cheek, right? It's like that. So that's what's called a pinch. So it just means a little bit, a very little bit. A pinch of salt and freshly ground. This salt and pepper is freshly ground. If something is freshly ground, that means it's fresh, right? Like coffee beans. If you want to make really a good cup of coffee in the morning, you need to grind your beans. I have a hand grinder. Where's my hand grinder? My coffee grinder. I don't know where it is now. But I have a hand coffee grinder. Oh, it's over there. I see it. It's okay. You can either get a hand grinder or an electric grinder where you push the button zzz, and it grinds the coffee, right? So we just ground this with the mortar and I don't know if you can grind coffee in a mortar and pestle. But anyway, so guys, here it is. My recipe that I invented called dead pig and eggs. Should we do a taste test? Oh, I can't wait, guys. So guys, this is the yolk. This yellow part here. Look at that. That's called the egg yolk. The yellow part is called the yolk. And this other part is called the egg white. Let me know, which do you prefer? Do you prefer egg whites or the egg yolks? For me, I love both. So we're gonna get a little bit of bacon here. Actually, let's get a whole strip. Let's get a whole strip of bacon and the egg yolk and maybe a little bit of egg white. Ooh, I lost my egg white. Oh, there we go, guys. Man, look at that. Wow. Would you love a bite like that? Let me know down in the comments. I'll give you the first bite, guys. You can have the first bite. You're the special one here. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you learned some new English words in these lessons. You know, very often, you know, it's hard to learn new English words unless you're kind of in that context, right? Like if you're at work and you work, let's say, at an English job, a normal job, I mean, you probably won't learn words like this because, you know, native English speakers don't use words like griddle at work. They use it like in the kitchen, right? So that's why I wanted to make this series of English cooking so I can teach you all kinds of new vocabulary that only comes up when I'm doing it, right? Like coarse, word like coarse and fine, or pinch, a pinch of salt and pepper. You know, I don't really use these words in my normal English lessons, but in videos like this, it's easy to teach you these words because they just come up naturally, right? So, smash like if you learned a new word today. Here we go, guys. Yeah, no, that's good. Wow. Oh, guys, that's too good. So good. I was hungry. That's why it's so good as well. You know, when you're hungry, you kind of, when you're really looking forward to eating something, and then you just take the first bite, it just tastes so good, right? Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me again in this second episode of English Cooking. Let me know down in the comments if you want more lessons like this, if you learned some new words. I love making these videos for you guys. So I just want to say a big thank you for being so special. Thank you for watching. Welcome. I wish you could be here to eat with me, but I'm sending you all my love. I'm sending this to your house so you can enjoy it with me. Thank you guys again. I love you as always. And hey, I'll see you over in the next episode of English Cooking. Take care.